Now, from the 810 zone, it's fantasy football with Brian McRae and Clay Jensen.
All right, we are back. Fantasy Football Wednesday at the 810 zone in Leawood, Kansas. We have a lot of people here apparently wanting to see a fantasy football show. What do you think, Brian?
I think they're watching the Cardinals.
Any Cardinal fans out there? Any Royal fans out there? Any ladies out there that just came for a good meal that their husband and boyfriend are buying them? Preferably one or the other, not husband and boyfriend. That'd just be a little too weird there. We are at the 810 zone in Leawood, Fantasy Football Wednesday. It is week 6. Reminder to watch 38 The Spot between 7 and 8 a.m. Monday through Friday and catch the Border Patrol.
Yeah, just started this week, and they're liking it.
We're also streaming on 810WHBTV.com, and you can catch us on Facebook as well, 810WHBTV. Next week, we'll be live from the 810 zone at Harrah's Casino in Kansas City.
In North Kansas City.
North Kansas City.
Yeah, make sure you put that in there.
There has to be a buffet there, right? Do all casinos have buffets?
Yes, they do.
Okay, and all you can eat, I'm guessing?
Yes.
I'm bringing my appetite. As we speak, the cheers you're going to be hearing throughout are not for our great fantasy football inside advice, but probably more so for the Cardinals highlights.
Or you may not hear anything if the Pirates are doing anything.
This is true. Then you'll be able to hear us loud and clear.
If it's quiet for the next hour, that means the Pirates are doing something good.
Or we're not doing our job right. One or the other. All right, couple of newsworthy items to get to. The big one coming today, Julio Jones is going to have surgery on his foot. He's going to be out for the season. It's probably the biggest blow for, well, if you have Julio Jones, I guess it's a huge blow for your fantasy football team.
They've already had problems there with the Falcons with their offense in the wide receiver position because White was missing some time too.
And he came up with a hamstring injury at the end of the game. He could miss, actually. Even they are on a bye this week, thank goodness, I guess. But I don't think it really matters. I mean, you're talking Roddy White might be out for – they think he might be out the week after the bye, plus maybe another week after that, too, with the hamstring injury.
Yeah, and I think that looking at that offense, they haven't done a whole lot. They haven't done what people expected them to do, and this ain't going to make anything any easier for them.
Yeah, Jaquez Rogers, he looked good the other night. Had 2 scores, but you're not expecting that out every week. Let's face it, Atlanta, they go through the pass game. Their defense is not that good. I thought they were better than what they were. The Jets, I guess, are pretty good too. I mean, they're 3-2. They look pretty sharp. Bilal Powell looked like he had some power, but that defensive line, they were getting manhandled by the Jets.
Yeah, it was ugly, and I don't think it's going to get a whole lot better. Everybody's thinking, well, they can go on a run. I don't see much there.
Yeah, well, you have your 2 best guys out.
They have no running.
Steven Jackson might come back after the bye, possibly, but
they're still iffy on that.
Yeah, their run protection, their run blocking is not the greatest. I mean, they're known for good pass blocking and getting their guys the ball downfield, and you don't have those guys. I mean, Harry Douglas, he's going to fill in. He's not Julio Jones, folks. Let's just get that one straight there. Then that's pretty. Miami's on a bye. And we can't really talk about our Lamar Miller.
Well, we can, but nothing's going to happen. I think the feel good atmosphere that was around the Dolphins and what they were able to generate offensively, they were doing some decent things. Tannehill was doing some decent things.
Wallace started getting back in the mix.
Wallace seemed like he was in Heartline. Those things. I think the real Dolphins have started to show themselves, and they're not a very good offense either.
Yeah, it's going to be another rough year, I think, for Miami fans. Hopefully, I think they'll do a little bit better than Washington did with all that money thrown into that team, though. So I think eventually they'll start producing some talent there. Let's talk about the Thursday night game tomorrow night. Should be a good one on paper. I mean, you got some good offensive weapons there, some good skill positions. The New York Giants taking on the Chicago Bears at Soldier Field. Kicking off at 7:25 tomorrow night. What do you like about this one? What don't you like about this one? Your thoughts?
I have Eli Manning on one of my teams, so I don't like how he has played.
Yeah, and Chicago's defense, I mean, they're not as good as they were the last couple of years, but they're actually
something's got to give. You figure something's got to give in this ballgame.
I'll tell you what's going to give. It's the Giants' defense is going to give. They're going to give away so many points to Brandon Marshall, Alton Jeffries, and also a guy back in the backfield, number 22. What's his name? Matt Forte. Yeah, he's pretty good. He'll be catching a lot of balls in the backfield. I think the Giants will be able to put some points up on the board
if Eli's not throwing picks.
But you thought that about the Carolina game, and they got shut out. I mean,
I don't know what to think of the Giants other than I don't expect much. And if you have Giants on your fantasy team, I wouldn't play him if you had a better option.
I traded for David Wilson. Traded away Dwayne Bowe for David Wilson. And I used him as a flex. Got a touchdown out of him until he screwed his neck up.
So he may not play.
Oh, he's not going to play. He's already ruled out for this game.
He's ruled out. Okay, yeah.
Brandon Jacobs is going to get the looks. They re-signing Scott as well. So they basically Darrell Scott. They basically treated him like Dwyer for Pittsburgh. It's like, yeah, we don't need you anymore. You're out of here. Thanks a lot for your help. Oh, hey, we need you back now. Okay, come on back. So I don't know. It's going to be a little ugly. It's hard to say who's going to get the balls. Ruben Randall, he had 2 touchdowns, looks very good. And Ruben Randall's a great receiver, but he's got he's not getting all the looks with Hicks still in there and Cruz. If one of those guys goes down, Ruben Randall's a great play. But
Hicks gets hurt a lot.
He's stayed healthy so far, though.
So far, but the way that things have gone for the Giants,
it is like Darren McFadden syndrome. I mean, eventually it's going to happen. Right. Eventually it's going to happen. It just hasn't happened yet.
So you may be able to get your good 2 or 3 weeks out of him. But yeah, I think that you can't count on him for the full season. So this is going to be, I think, a game where people that do play their Giants players, this may be one of the last weeks where you're thinking, okay, well, Peyton may get or Eli may get over the hump. I may play him this week. I may play some of the other guys.
We've been saying that for the last few weeks.
But there's some people that are going to think maybe you can go get another week out of him. I'm thinking if you have better options, don't play Giants.
Eli Manning he put up decent numbers against the Eagles, 24-52, 334 yards, and 2 touchdowns to Randall.
When a quarterback gets you 0 points or negative points.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not good.
And he was close to doing it 2 weeks in a row.
He threw 3 picks in the game. Chicago, I think, is a little bit better than the Eagles as far as defense goes.
But you look at on the other side of the ball, the Bears' offense, they ain't a whole lot to jump up and do cheers about either the way they've been playing.
Well, Chicago, they held Drew Brees to 288 yards and 2 touchdowns when they played them. And I think Brees he's on a different level than Eli Manning is.
Defense is good, but the offense is another story.
Yeah, the offense for the Bears is starting to come around, I think. They should generate points. The Giants, they give the most points per contest. 36.8 points on an average, the most in the league. So I'm expecting.
I don't think the Bears reached that number.
I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think that the Bears will actually edge them out, though. I mean, Marshall wasn't really that active, but
and he hasn't been.
Alshon Jeffries is the leading receiver for the team. He had a huge game, over 200 yards receiving last contest. So he was a big pickup. I picked him up in one of my leagues. He was already owned in another, though.
I tell you,
Chili Bean League.
I did not. I dropped the Giants defense, but now that I'm rethinking it, against the Bears, they probably had a good chance to.
Jay Cutler, he's hit and miss sometimes. He's very sketchy sometimes.
He's got a chance to throw a pick 6, but I was through with the Giants, period. So all my Giants players, other than Eli Manning, I've got rid of.
Let's talk about the Bears defense. I think I foresee in this game. I mean, granted, a lot of scoring is done on Thursday nights and stuff, but I can see the Bears defense picking off Eli Manning and take it to the house. It's not out of the realm of possibility.
No, the way Eli has thrown the ball, or the lack
he'll expect the receiver to go one way, and the receiver won't, and that'll just they'll just sit
and
on
his line can't protect him. It's just It's frustrating watching them. I'm not even a Giants fan, but it's frustrating watching that team. So the Bears should pick up points as a defense. If you have them, be probably a good bet to play them against the Giants.
Get some fumble recovers, interceptions, possibly a return, and some sacks. Definitely some sacks.
So
that line is horrible for the Giants. So All right, let's move on from the Thursday night game. We got noon games to talk about. The Cincinnati Bengals are at the Buffalo Bills. The 3-2 Bengals, along with the Browns, they're looking legit in the AFC North. They're tied up there with the Ravens. I mean, you don't think of the Browns and the Bengals, especially not the Browns, but they got good defenses. They both Cincinnati and Cleveland both have good defense, and I'd say Cincinnati's offense a little bit better with Giovanni Bernard, but they're holding their own. They're still sitting up there, and usually at this time I'm looking at next year as a Browns fan, but they're staying up there. But Cincinnati, quiet past 2 weeks for AJ Green. He's going to get back on track in this one. The Bills defense,
he's due.
The Bills defense surrender over 375 yards per contest. I mean, AJ Green, I see him at least 150 yards in this game. 1 touchdown, maybe even 2.
That's bold.
Oh, that's bold. That is bold. And it's the Buffalo secondary. It's just not that good. And they can be run on as well. Giovanni Bernard, Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis. They're still splitting the workload. I think Bernard, though, has the upper hand from here on out, especially in PPR leagues. So in the passing game, he gets a lot out of the backfield and in swing patches.
I just think when you look at the Bengals and their offense, they have so many weapons and so many guys that can do some things that are going up against the Bills. That's just not a good matchup for the Bills.
Mohamed Sanu, he could have a nice game too as well for the Bengals if they're going to blanket.
We can list 4 or 5.
Yeah, I mean you can
have a chance to do some real damage this week.
And I don't know if you can really blanket A.J. Green, but just like with Brandon Marshall for the Bears, you roll protection over to their best receiver. You're leaving the second guy one-on-one. And Sanu can do it. So, yeah. So big things for Cincinnati. Buffalo, speaking of splitting the carries, the Bills are pretty much in the same boat with C.J. Spiller and Fred Jackson. Continue to frustrate fantasy owners, myself included. I own them both in one league. I have
Who's
Fred Jackson
getting the ball in the red zone?
Fred Jackson's getting the ball. Yeah. So touchdown every league, yeah. But I mean, C.J. Spiller ripped one off last week too.
But there's two schools of thought, 2 ways to look at it.
The good thing is that they're both. I mean, if they're both healthy,
valuable.
Yeah, if they're both healthy, they can both play. One could be a wide receiver too, the other in your flex.
Right.
So I mean, when they're healthy, that is. You thought neither of them was going to do anything against Cleveland that Thursday night, but they both had Fred Jackson had 2 touchdowns. One was kind of a gimme at the goal line due to pass interference at the beginning of the game, but he ripped one off, and Spiller had a 51-yard touchdown too. So if they're both healthy, I think you can start them both. You don't need to decide between one or the other, and especially this game, I think they'd be fine against Cincinnati at home.
I think both of them have a chance to score a lot of points for you.
Yeah, and the Buffalo, it's a good thing with them. They're a run-first team. They're not worried about throwing the ball. And my goodness gracious, with Thad Lewis as your starting quarterback,
you're not passing very often.
You're not throwing the ball. Stevie Johnson, he's a little dinged up. Robert Wood, he's got the most receptions, and he's looked pretty good over the last few games. He's going to be the main go-to.
He only has 16.
Yeah, maybe he's a go-to guy. I mean, they're looking at Robert Wood more in the red zone. It's a rundown at home base there. There we go. I look for the running game to get most of the work here. You're not going to look at the passing game. Thad Lewis, you're not against Cincinnati. Against anybody, even against Jacksonville, I wouldn't feel comfortable starting Thad Lewis.
No.
It could be a nice kicking day for Dan Carpenter.
And I just picked him up.
Did you? All right. There you go. Buffalo kicker. He'll get some work. Speaking of the Browns, Detroit's at Cleveland this week. So this is what the lines look like without Calvin Johnson.
It's not good.
Oh, my gosh. It was horrible. Johnson didn't even practice today. I think it's more for precautionary reasons. I think he said he was close to returning last week, but they did hold him on. And if you weren't watching early morning on Sunday, you had him in your lineup. Maybe you went to the game or whatever, mowing the lawn or whatever you do on a Sunday afternoon. Church. There we go.
Gotta pay attention.
There you go. This is the important thing, folks, about bringing a smartphone into church with you. Granted, you're listening to the sermon, but you also got to make sure your guys are going to be playing. All right.
Now, or how about reading the paper in the city?
Yeah,
that your player plays in.
Yeah, so Calvin Johnson didn't play, so he might have been on some people's rosters, and they got a big fat 0 from him. Let's see, Megatron, he probably will play. Reggie Bush makes a decent play this week. Browns are pretty stingy on defense, though. They they surrender only 19 points per game on defense, Cleveland, so far. And they played some decent competition. I mean, Philadelphia, they took care of them. So I don't think you can trust any other skilled player, though. For the receivers, Ryan Broyles. It was Chris Durham who had the most targets and the touchdown last week. Ryan Broyles eventually might start coming back little by little.
This may be a week you just kind of stay away.
Yeah, it's. I mean, you look at the Bills; they had 3 rushing touchdowns against Cleveland that Thursday night. But Reggie Bush is great. But it's very hard to say. Megatron Johnson and Reggie Bush, I think, are the only 2 real safe plays here.
There is a safe play.
Stafford looked really bad. I think if Johnson plays, I think they'd be all right. Cleveland, though, it's.
But you don't know how healthy it is, if he's going to be used more as a decoy.
Yeah, but I think if you own Calvin Johnson and he's going to play,
but you have to monitor the situation, and as it gets closer to game day, find out what's going on.
Yep. For Cleveland, shockingly, they're just as good as the Ravens and Bengals. Strong defense, serviceable fantasy starters at wide receiver, tight end, and the running back position with old man Willis McGahee. I picked
him up this week.
I think he's 63 years old, if I'm not mistaken. One of the or 38.
But he's durable.
He's getting up there. He's a tough dude. Bounce back game coming from Jordan Cameron here. Detroit ranks 14th against the tight end position. And if guys like Jordan Reed and Logan Paulson can get it done for Washington, they combine for 9 catches for 101 yards. I like my chances with number 84, Jordan Cameron.
He seems to be the go-to guy.
Yeah, he and Josh Gordon, they'll be both good. But Cameron is, whenever they get in trouble, whatever. And I own Josh Gordon. I wish they'd throw to him more. He does get some looks, but I think more times than not, they're going to look for the tight end, Jordan Cameron.
So you say you own guys because you have them on your team?
No. And
Are you just
last year I didn't own any Cleveland Brown. Trent Richardson did fall to me really late, so I did take him, and every thought it was like a homer. I'm like, dude, if he's going to fall this low, this is last year, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to take him. It was like second round. I'm like, this guy should be picked up. And that guy plays with broken ribs, Mr. Trent Richardson. Not anymore for the Browns, though. Josh Gordon, I like him also in this one. Over the past 2 contests, the Lions secondary have surrendered 27 catches, 449 yards, and 3 touchdowns. That's in 2 games to opposing receivers. 99 fantasy points is what it comes out to in standard scoring leagues. That's a lot.
Yes, it is.
So I like his chances there. The big game for people around here might be the Oakland Raiders at the Kansas City Chiefs at Arrowhead Stadium.
Raiders surprised me the other night.
Nice performance from them on Sunday night. Sunday night, Monday morning, I guess you could call it. Did you watch the game?
Yes, I did. I was up studying because I had a final on Tuesday, so
I had to get up at 4:30 in the morning. I was like, I'm not watching this game. It's been decided already who's won this contest.
It was a good first half.
Yeah, Ryan Jennings didn't look too good, but Marcel Reese apparently in the second quarter kind of came alive. I like him. He's looking good, especially in PPRs. He doesn't look that sexy. He's like a big guy, like a fullback kind of guy, but he's smart. He knows where to pick the holes. He can catch the ball.
I think the Raiders are a little bit better offensively than we want to give them credit for because they've been so terrible.
Now, granted,
over the last few years.
This was against San Diego. All right, it ain't happening. It ain't happening in Arrowhead. All right, Chiefs give up 11.6 points per game, the fewest in the NFL.
But the Raiders have won 6 straight at Arrowhead with all kind of guys you can't even name at quarterback.
I think that's coming to an end.
It should come to an end.
It should.
How many times have we said that over the past 6 years when the Raiders come in here with 3 wins and they find a way to get it done? Pryor has played better for the Raiders.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
A lot better. He looks pretty good. But as far as offensive weapons,
they got more on the outside. And
Streeter has done okay.
Yeah, so Darius Moore, I think he's a good play.
But they're going up against, as you said, a better defense than what they went up against.
The Chiefs do. The Chiefs do. I mean, if Marcel Reese gets a start, if Ryan Jennings and Darren McFadden are both out with their hammies, I think Marcel Reese makes a nice play. I mean, surprisingly, Kansas City, as good as they are, they give up 5.3 yards per carry, which is a lot in the NFL per carry. So, I mean, they can be run on. The secondary is pretty stout. The line is great. The defensive line is great. but they do give up some rushing yards. So I think Marcel Reese would be a nice play if he got all the bulk. If he doesn't,
I think Pryor is going to mix in some of those into his repertoire and run a little bit.
He could be under duress all day long. He might sneak a touchdown in.
He had no choice.
Yeah, he could get a touchdown, but he could also get concussed as well. So I'm not putting that out of the question. I wouldn't
play him unless I had to.
Yeah. Kansas City on the other side of the ball. Repeat after me. Jamal Charles will put up over 20 fantasy points for the 5th straight week. I'm predicting over 100 yards and two touchdowns in this one.
He may have 100 yards rushing and receiving.
I think he's going to go 100 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. Now, one of the touchdowns might come as a catch. Not throwing that out, but I think he's probably going to put up one of his best games thus far for the season. If I had Jamal Charles, I'd rather have him than like Matt Forte. I mean, I like Jamal Charles, and he's staying healthy. And
good job.
The Chiefs are legit. For you Dwayne Bowe owners out there, I was one of them at one time. I did trade him away for a guy who's now sitting on the bench, David Wilson.
He may have a bigger role now. Is Avery going to play?
He might, but they look for the under stuff, and Dwayne Bowe might get something, but
they're looking for the tight ends. They're looking for the receivers.
Yeah, and Seth McGrath had a nice game last week. I don't know. There's probably not a lot of better options out there. Maybe if you drafted Bowe, but he's not going to be living up to draft day expectations. He was taken probably early third, mid third round, possibly. Probably if you went running back, he might be one of your first receivers.
He's just not having the year that people expected.
Yeah,
and he may not because of the way they run this offense.
And granted, he's going to have like maybe 2 or 3 games. We'll get 100 yards and a touchdown, maybe 2. But there's so many other serviceable options out there at receiver right now that you got to start. You can't go with a name anymore. I mean, it's just not the way they're using them in the offense. So, of course, he's starting the Chiefs defense this week and week out. They're so good you could probably play them on week 10. That would be their bye. Carolina and Minnesota in the Hubert H. Humphrey Metrodome.
Rebound last year there.
They will play there this year. Next year they are at.
Yes, over to the University of Minnesota for a year.
They'll play here the rest of this year. Then they're going to go to the TCF Bank Field, which is where the Gophers play, and then they'll move into the new stadium in 2015, I believe it is. So, I'll let you go on and on about Carolina. I actually like them. I think it's going to be a nice rebound game for Cam Newton.
They need to. Cam Newton got me 0 points. I didn't have a good luck with my quarterbacks.
Who's your other one?
I had Eli Manning.
Yeah.
Cam Newton.
No Peyton Manning, huh?
No Peyton.
That's a shame.
No Peyton.
This game, I think, would have been ideal for Cam Newton if he was at home, but they're playing in Minnesota, and it's pretty close to the next best thing. Minnesota's they're just not that good. So, if you can get Cam Newton right now from some disgruntled owner,
I'm not trading him. I'm just not playing him this week.
I'd probably play him this week. I think he'd be good. Next 4 matchups are pretty choice. They're playing the Vikings on the road this week.
I'm playing Jay Cutler over Cam Newton.
Yeah.
Cutler against the Giants.
I can see that. Cam Newton's got the Vikings on the road. Then he has at home against St. Louis. They're at Tampa Bay.
I'll put him back in there.
And then at home against Atlanta.
I'll put him back in there after that.
So he's got some good games coming up, I think. Enjoy D'Angelo Williams for one more week before the backfield gets really ugly. I think Jonathan Stewart might be returning very soon. So, and for Greg Olsen, this is the week to use Greg Olsen. Do you have Greg Olsen on tight end?
I have Greg Olsen. I have D'Angelo Williams. I have Steve Smith.
Yes, your Carolina-based team.
Yeah,
the Carolina crew.
heavy. The
Carolina crew. Minnesota ranks next to last in points allowed at the tight end position, so I think Greg Olsen's a nice play here. For Minnesota, they're back from a bye. Adrian Peterson looks to continue his dominance in the backfield. Carolina's front line, good at home, but like the Seahawks, they show a different side when they're playing on the road. So, and Adrian Peterson. You're playing him week in, week out. Doesn't really matter the matchup. Andrew Siciliano from ESPN, he said after the bye, Leslie Frazier's Vikings are 0-3 and outscored 102 to 37 points. So they're not that good after the bye.
Yeah, there's something to that bye.
I don't know. Usually, I mean, if you're Andy Reid, it's great. Chiefs are like, when he was in Philly, they always won after their bye. Josh Freeman, he's not starting this week, but could get to the nod for next week, Week 7 against the Giants. I think it'd be an improvement, increased productivity in the passing game if they had Josh Freeman. I like Josh Freeman. I think it's just a bad situation in Tampa Bay.
I think he's just not a very good player.
We got a question, Jim, from somebody?
Tanya's going to come over here and talk to you guys. She's got a great fantasy football story.
Do you have any specials?
You got to hear her story.
All right, Tanya.
Okay, so I just wanted to tell you about the 1 year that I did play fantasy football.
Now, why was it 1 year?
Let me tell you the story. So
my wife tells me the same thing. I usually interrupt. Okay, I'll shut up.
So I'm playing fantasy football. I love football, but NFL. I love college more than NFL. But so I'm playing week to week, whatever. Well, apparently I left one of my players on the bench. Somebody had a bye week, whatever. I'm dealing kind of with a family crisis. My dad's in the hospital, and I get a phone call from the guy I'm playing that I have left one of my players on the bench, and he is so offended. And I said, this is not real life, right? So that was my last year playing fantasy football.
You shouldn't let that deter you. Now, was he upset? I mean, how was your record at the time?
I think I was okay. I mean,
do you have? Was it early in the season, late in the season?
No, it was pretty early season.
Okay.
So it wasn't challenging to win at the very end or anything. But I'm like,
so he was offended because you weren't putting your best team forward.
Exactly.
Thought you're kind of mailing it in.
Let's all just calm down.
Yeah,
I think you're going to win this week, and I was fine with that, right?
Yeah, and was it for jelly beans at all? Was it for a considerable amount of monetary jelly beans?
Not a considerable amount, just a small amount. Yeah,
little something.
A small amount.
Yeah, you have friendly leagues like with families and stuff like that, and they get it's all fun and games, and rules are kind of different, but you get people. I mean, do you know all these people you're in fantasy with?
Yeah, I knew everybody.
Were they all coworkers?
No, all friends.
All friends? Is this person a friend anymore?
Yeah, I just bowed out. I bowed out of the league. I said, this is over. So the league got smaller.
Well, we wish you come back.
I know.
To the dark side of fantasy football.
Okay.
And my wife doesn't understand it either. It's some sick obsession I have. So I can understand that. No, I can't understand that. Everybody should be playing fantasy football.
Hey,
I understand.
The way it is.
Do one of you guys want to take a break? Tanya's friend said she'd stay up there for an hour if you let her.
Does Tanya like to talk a lot?
I could talk football for hours.
All right, we can
And
talk.
you know what I do love about fantasy? I don't really talk teams. I like to talk like individual players because I follow individual players more than teams. But
all right,
it's probably why I would be a better fantasy fan than.
Well, you'll have to get back into fantasy football.
Okay.
Eventually. So you do follow the games right now?
Yeah.
So just so that one thing, you can get a different league. I mean, you don't have to be with these knuckleheads. There's a lot of leagues out there that are looking for people to join.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
You can even go. I think Craigslist even has spots where,
like right now.
Yeah, you're allowed. Well, maybe not right this second, but you probably jump on another team. If somebody else, if you want to co-manage a team, maybe they need some funds. Maybe you have a broke friend out there. Do you have any broke friends out there that are in fantasy football?
They're in need of my money.
Yeah, they get a little money, and then you have a little ownership in that team. There, a little slice of the pie, if you know what I mean.
Well, that's a great reason to be needed. Yeah, yeah, I like that.
Hey, when you win the lottery, people come out of the woodworks. Am I right? Am I right? Huh?
So, what team do you follow?
I don't really follow.
Who's your favorite player?
You don't have
my favorite player, in NFL.
Overall in the NFL.
I love Darren Sproles.
He's good. He didn't too good last week, but the week before he had a very nice game.
Yeah.
Darren Sproles.
I like Darren Sproles. Who's your guy?
If I had a man crush on anyone, people are probably gonna boo me, but I think overall Peyton Manning is just
okay.
He's amazing.
He tends to put out some numbers.
He's amazing. If he came to my door, I would say, you know what? Honey, you're gonna have to spend the night on the couch. Peyton Manning gets to sleep in our room there. I'm gonna spoon big time with Peyton Manning. He's just
that's disturbing.
He's just watching the guy. Just watching the guy play. He is just he's like a conductor out there with an orchestra. It's fun to watch him play. Even if you're a
this
Chiefs
is
fan.
like something that your friends and family can go back and listen to 20, 30 years from now.
I think people probably know it. And,
Once it's on the internet, it never
all you
comes off.
closet Peyton Manning lovers out there, I know you're out there. They're all like, yeah. You know, they're secretly nodding their heads like, yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm with them. I spoon also with him. Little man love. I have a man crush on him. So that's probably my guy. And Adrian Peterson, I met the guy. He
just got a new quarterback on his team, didn't he?
He did. Huh. Josh Freeman.
If he's starting, they have issues.
He's not starting this week, but
if he starts later in the year.
It's really a coin toss there, right?
Christian Ponder has a broken rib up near his heart, so they don't want to rush him back too quickly. And I think you've seen enough of Matt Castle, haven't you?
He played well a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, he's serviceable, but I think Josh,
he knows the playbook.
Josh Freeman's got, I think, the big arm. He's a smart kid.
How much is he going to know of the playbook coming in?
Tampa Bay is not a good team. You can have a great team, but you can just have it run to the ground, i.e. Dan Snyder in Washington over the years. You can have all the money you want, all the great players, but if you don't have any
Josh
run the
Freeman
team,
is not a good player.
He was a great player.
He was at one time.
He had 26 touchdowns and like 5 interceptions one year.
Right.
He can do it, and I think he can get back there with the right team.
I don't see it happening.
All right.
Awesome. Well, we'll take a little break. It's getting a little heated here. I need a drink of water. Tell you're welcome to stay if you like. We can talk more fantasy football. Coming up on 810WHBTV.com. We'll be back in a moment. We are back at 810 Zone in Leawood, Kansas. The Cardinals are still up 2-0.
But it's been quiet lately because they haven't done anything.
Yeah, David Freese had the 2-run knock, and that was it for right now. We're being followed on Twitter, I've been told, by Fantasy Tool DFS, so thank you very much. Appreciate that. Let's get back to some more matchups here. More noon games. Pittsburgh Steelers are at the New York Jets. Le'Veon Bell, he looked very spry in London against Minnesota. 16 carries, 57 yards, and 2 touchdowns. This week, the Steelers will be in the Big Apple battling the eyebrow-raising 3-2 Jets.
Doesn't surprise me. I mean, I thought Geno Smith was a little bit better than advertised.
But, I mean, you
he's
think
shown to be pretty good.
At the beginning of the season, it was like, they didn't look like they were really going to be doing anything. I mean, there was like no Jet that you really, want to order. Sean Green was gone. Chris Ivory, he's kind of unproven. He was always injured and stuff coming over.
They have a little talent there.
Yeah, Santonio Holmes was in there. It's a mess, but the defense is good. The line's good. And I think that's awesome. I like Rex Ryan. He's fun to watch on the sidelines. He gets
wreck.
He gets crazy, especially on like defensive holds or. What was it? There was it was Julio Jones, I think, wanted a pass interference called, and he was right down. He's like, you got to be, just like, you could read lips. You don't need to be have to read Rex Ryan's lips. So, Le'Veon Bell, what do you think about him? First game, 2 touchdowns against the Vikings. If every game was played in London.
Yeah, there were some things that happened over there, like we're just talking about the Vikings. And Matt Castle, I mean, that game he had was outstanding.
Yeah,
can he bring that back to the States?
Well, it was an over the middle pass to Jennings that took it to the house and made a lot of defenders miss.
But you don't take that away from other quarterbacks if they do.
No, but
he found the right guy.
You haven't seen much from Greg Jennings, and he does get those touchdowns. So
he had 2.
Yeah, one was legit. The other one wasn't so much, but I don't think Le'Veon Bell's going to have that much room against the Jets. Jets ranked 5th in defense overall. Both teams they rank in the top defense. A little less scoring, I think, in this one. Not too much scoring.
I think there'd be more scoring on the Jets side than the Steelers side.
I'm actually considering benching Antonio Brown this week.
It's a good move.
So just kind of playing the matchup. Yeah, gosh, should I have in there? I think I'm going to be playing. I just picked up Williams for Dallas, and that's a tricky part. That's a night game against Washington on Sunday night. So I don't know if Miles Austin doesn't play, it's a great play, but if Miles Austin plays, I don't know.
No, it ain't going to work.
We'll have to see. Heath Miller continues to impress. Increased workload, targets, catches, yards. Jets have given up touchdowns in 3 straight games to opposing tight ends. So I think Heath Miller, I think Big Ben's going to find his favorite.
That's about the only one that he trusts.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see the Jets getting up big in this game. So there's no need to really air it out to Antonio Brown. I think if they did, Antonio Brown would get a nice catch. He's got the talent, he's got the skills, but I think this game's going to be too close, and they're just going to be running a lot. So. For the Jets, no Stephen Hill, no problem. Jets got it done against Atlanta. That game, the Atlanta Jets game, if you're in the Survivor pool, it knocked out about 35% of the people that are in the Survivor pool. A lot of people had Atlanta just to win easily over the Jets.
They just had Atlanta name only, but Atlanta has not played that well.
Yeah, and the Jets. I mean, apparently not a lot of people watching many Jets games, so they showed up and took care of business. Jets, they kind of remind me of the 49ers. They got some good lines, got some good defense. Not a lot of sexy receivers out there, but they kind of just
they get the job done.
It's hard-nosed football. They get the job done. For the Jets, what do you think about Chris Ivory, Bilal Powell? Do you like him at all?
They're not my first option.
Rex Ryan, they got a power running game there with those two. I think
Powell, but if you have other choices on your team, on your roster, you're not.
The bye week's not really going to kill you. I mean,
No, there's only
Atlanta,
2 teams.
Atlanta, Miami.
There are only 2 teams out.
That seems strange to you that there's like 4 teams and then 2 teams. Usually like
Doesn't
4.
make a whole lot of sense.
It's like usually they try to get them all done at once. I don't remember ever seeing 2 teams on a bye. Kind of this early in the season. So, what do you think about Geno Smith? 3 touchdowns.
I thought he was well. He did well.
Geno Smith, 3 touchdowns. Guess who
He's going to be up and down, though. He's going to be a guy that, if you have him, he's your backup quarterback, and you're not going to probably play him 4 or 5 weeks in a row. You probably have somebody better than him that you've already drafted.
Yeah, but I agree with you, but I mean, like Matthew Stafford, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, Andrew Luck, none of them have had 3 touchdowns last week, so you just kind of never know. It's very hit and miss. I'm not saying Geno Smith's putting up 3 touchdowns every week, and for sure it's not going to happen this week against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's they got a really stingy defense. They're pretty good there, ranked 2nd in the league.
You have to pick and choose your spots with Smith.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a low-scoring game. I could probably see a defensive touchdown from one of these 2 teams coming in there, too. A big kicker matchup. What do you think? Ooh.
I don't think there are going to be a lot of field goals. I think they're going to be touchdowns.
What do you think the score is going to be? I'm looking like,
21-17.
14, yes, yeah. 14, 14-10, 17-14, something like that. So, 21 points, huh?
Yep.
For who? Pittsburgh?
No, the Jets.
The Jets? All right. Jets, Jets.
The Steelers are done.
Yeah. They might be. They got a running game now, I think. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. They'll work something out there. That offensive coordinator is something special though for Pittsburgh.
Doing all kind of damage.
For Philadelphia and Tampa Bay, Phillies at Tampa Bay, the pirate ship, as my daughter calls it. She loves that thing. Loves it.
All the woes of the Buccaneers should be solved now that Freeman's gone.
Yes. It's all will be right with the world. For Tampa Bay, they're at home, but Vincent Jackson, Mike Williams owners, as bad as Josh Freeman might have been, I think he brings more to the table than Mike Lennon does. I don't see
nothing there, anything there offensively to get excited about.
Doug Martin, I think he'll have a good game, though. If he's going to have a good game, it's got to be right here. He's played against some pretty good defenses already, so people own Doug Martin,
But he's only averaging 3.4 yards a carry and only has 1 touchdown.
Philly's not a good defense.
No, they're not.
They're not. So, I mean, I think he'll have his best fantasy production to date. And I'm aware of his 144-yard performance against the Saints in Week 2. I think he'll have 20 carries, 100 yards, and possibly 100 yards plus, possibly 2 touchdowns in this game against Philly. What do you think?
No.
Come on now. Come on,
they're going to have to throw the ball a little bit more because they're going to be behind.
You think so? I'm not. Michael Vick. I mean, Nick Foles. You think Nick Foles is going to get done?
I don't care who's quarterbacking, but I think they're going to score, and Tampa Bay is going to have to come back from behind, so they're not going to run the ball as much.
The Jets. The Eagles. I think you need to temper expectations for Deshaun Jackson and LaShawn McCoy. Darrelle Revis is going to be all over Deshaun Jackson. There's a lot of talk about who's faster, blah blah blah.
I think McCoy is going to get the ball and a lot of he's going to get the ball in the passing game. They throw to him a lot, so I think he's going to put up good numbers and have a chance to help you out. Jackson, they may use him as a decoy most of the day.
Yeah, I think Darrelle Revis. I mean, I think Jackson's probably faster, but I think Darrelle Revis is a little more physical. So Darrelle Revis basically just said, we'll see. We're not sprinting. This isn't the Olympics, so who cares who's faster?
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, Darrelle Revis I think Darrelle Revis would be very good against him. So we'll have to see. Tampa Bay, I think it would be a good play this week, especially against Tampa Bay. I think the Eagles could do very well against Tampa Bay, especially the defense. If they get up, that's going to pressure them to throw the ball out more picks, possibly even returning one to the his house, as I like to call it. Green Bay is at Baltimore for the Packers. Remember what the Broncos did to the Ravens in Week 1? Aaron Rodgers owners do. I think Aaron Rodgers. I don't think he's thrown for 7 touchdowns, But I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be a very good play against Baltimore this week. I don't think four touchdowns is not a possibility for Aaron Rodgers.
It all depends on clock control, what the Ravens do. If the Ravens can keep the ball away from the Packers, they can keep the score respectably down. But I don't see how this isn't 28, 35 points for the Packers.
Eddie Lacy, he looked good last week against the Lions, 23 carries, 99 yards. Baltimore's a different story than the Lions. I think Baltimore, they're tougher, a little more stingy. They allow the fewest fantasy points to running backs, 11.6 fantasy points to running backs. So
that's why you got to go to the pass.
Yeah, temper expectations on Eddie Lacy.
Jordy Nelson,
Randall Cobb, Jones. But it's like the Packer potpourri, though. You just never know who's going to get it. I mean, Cobb,
all of them are going to have a chance to get a lot of points.
Yeah, there's a chance, but I mean, it's so hard to decide because it seems to be one of them. I mean, Cobb had the targets last week. Nelson had the most catches, but Jones got the yardage and the score. And the Lambeau leap that didn't work the first time. Apparently, he jumped up into an area where there were Detroit Lion fans, and he got rejected. So he had to go back up into another area of the crowd for the Lambeau leap. For Baltimore, nice game from kicker Justin Tucker. Picked him up last week, 4 field goals. Justin Tucker.
Did you win?
Sexual chocolate. I did win. Yes. So that was very nice to see. Seriously though, they said they're going to get done with Ray Rice, and they didn't disappoint. 27 carries, only 74 yards, but he did get in the end zone 2 times. So the average really wasn't that impressive, but 27 carries, that's impressive. So they are. It's giving
impressive if he can continue to do that.
Yeah, the workload was there. Joe Flacco, on the other hand,
he's been.
What can you say?
Subpar.
He's
had a bad year so far.
The only thing you can say about Joe Flacco is that he is not startable. He has only 5 touchdowns this far in the season, and that's as many picks he threw up in Week 4 against the Bills. 5 interceptions. He's got Torrey Smith out there. Jacoby Jones eventually is going to start coming back. He's got.
But he has a terrible line.
Yeah,
I think that's been cause for a lot of his problems. They went out and got another lineman last week.
Some of that stuff you see, but some of it is on him. I mean, you see that quarterback, Joe Flacco, and he'll throw some real bad throws. I'm like, you guys paid that guy over $100 million.
But they didn't get a line.
I can't get that.
You're going to pay a guy that, you have to have a line to block for him.
Well, they should have taken some of that money and got some offensive help, offensive line help. So I know it's decimated. They have some injuries, but hopefully he can bounce back. For St. Louis, they're taking on the Houston Texans. Congratulations to Sam Bradford and his 3 touchdowns last week against the Jaguars.
Still counts.
Does still count. And you probably played him there. It's going to be a different story this week on the road in Houston. Houston is they're a little angry, I think, from getting beat last week. And 2 initials for you and 1 last name. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Nope.
For Houston, J.J. Watt. He's going to be all over Bradford, like a dirty shirt, and maybe a bloody nose too, because that guy looks mean with a bloody nose.
I see the Rams winning this game.
Come on now. Matt Schaub was bad. Did you hear about Matt Schaub and he had some fans that met him? I don't know if this is true, but he apparently had some fans that met him at his house that were
The story I saw said it was just somebody was in the driveway taking pictures. There wasn't any confrontation.
Yeah, I think that way it got a little blown out of proportion, but come on, fans. It's a game there. So
I think Houston is reeling. Their offense kind of has no direction. They're kind of struggling. Andre Johnson has good numbers, but has not gotten in the end zone. The two-headed monsters at running back have done okay, but not. I think Foster's starting to get the ball a little bit more, but they're still.
I think he's going to have a big game against the Rams. I don't see him putting up too much of a fight here. So I say start Arian Foster. The tight end position, Owen Daniels is out for 4 to 6 weeks. So Garrett Graham, he's probably going to be a nice pickup, and you still get him on most leagues.
I think he's probably gone by now.
He was doing fine. Yeah, he was doing fine even with Daniels in there because they do a lot of 2 tight end formations. So Garrett Graham, you think about what Owen Danz was getting, he's going to get that.
He's going to slide over
he was doing. He has 3 touchdowns on the season already. So Garrett Graham, if you can grab him, he'd be a good pickup there for Tennessee. Texas defense, I think they're a must start here. Sam Bradford, he's not that good of a quarterback.
Not that good of a quarterback, but he does have 10 touchdown passes.
He's got Austin. He's got Pettis there, who continues to outperform Gibbons and Tavon Austin. And I don't know why I said that last statement. You just got to stay away from the Rams receivers. I don't think it's going to be a good showing for them. The 3 o'clock games, Jacksonville is at Denver. The return of Justin Blackmon, 5 catches, 136 yards, and a touchdown.
And that's about it?
That's about all you have for Jacksonville. He and Cecil Shorts, they're going to be the kings of garbage time this week. It's going to get ugly fast in Denver. Peyton Manning, they could be up big, and like we said, you pretty much for Jaguars, you have to basically wait until the third, fourth. You might only have to wait for the second quarter. I mean, they might be up so big that they'll start. They'll get their receptions once they pull all the first stringers off for Denver in the secondary.
The problem I worry about if I'm a Peyton Manning owner is how much is he going to play
for this game?
This game, yeah.
Who cares? He's going to get 3-4 touchdowns in this game.
Well, you may be one of those guys that wants more.
If you want to be greedy, then you drafted wrong. You should have drafted somebody else on your team other than just Peyton Manning. I mean, if you're relying on Peyton Manning just to carry your fantasy football team throughout, granted he's the best player,
and
overall.
He has carried some teams. So
he has carried some teams, but I mean, week 9 you're going to suffer a loss. I mean, I have a guy that has taken a lot of Denver guys on his fantasy team. He'll take a loss that week, but so far they're looking good. They had a great, that game against Dallas last week, it was fantasy gold for both teams. And there had to be a loser. Unfortunately, it was Tony Romo with that pick towards the end. But
as far as
everybody
had no rooting interest in the game, you had players, you were fine because they all did well.
Yeah, and fantasy just made it. That's why I say play fantasy football, because it makes the game so much more fun to watch.
Unless you had their defenses.
Yeah, and hopefully you didn't start the defenses on those two teams is not that good, and you probably shouldn't have started them anyways. And you never start a defense get Peyton Manning because he's going to put up 40-plus points. That's what they average.
Sometimes you have no choice.
Yeah, well.
Hey, Clay.
Yeah.
We've got a Facebook question here about Denver.
About who?
Denver.
Yeah.
With Champ Bailey expected back this week, will that set the Denver's defense up for success?
With Champ Bailey back, will it
set their defense up for success?
Defense will be better with Miller coming back in a few weeks.
Yeah, once he comes back, it'll be fine. Champ Bailey doesn't scare me anymore. He's not the big threat that he used to be. Back in the day, I think he's really good, but he doesn't. He's not Darrelle Revis, and they're not going to try to not keep the ball away from Champ Bailey, I don't think so.
I think Miller...
He's decent. Yeah, once
Miller comes back, I think you'll see a dramatic difference in the type of defense that they play.
Because they'll be able to start rushing quarterbacks more, making them throw the ball quicker than they want to. Then Champ Bailey, I think, will come into the picture because he does have a good nose for the ball and can take it to the house. So who sent that question in?
Tabitha.
Tabitha did.
From Olathe.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that the one that was just up here?
No.
Oh, okay. It's a different person. Oh, nice.
That's Tanya.
Oh, it's Tanya. Okay, that's right. Oh, so there we go. That's very good. I like get a couple questions on Facebook.
We've got a couple more, so come back to me when you're ready.
There we go. Oh, she is going to come back?
We've got a couple more questions here.
All right. Let's finish up the matchup here. So, for rules and regulations of fantasy football, you're starting all your Broncos. And I think the defense is fine to start in this one as well. I don't think you have a problem. I can't see Jacksonville really putting any points up.
No, I think anything you have that says Denver, go.
Even your jersey. So there you go. Put them in. Enough said. Tennessee and Seattle. Tennessee, looking at the matchup, I'm not seeing a lot of points for the Titans side. Chris Johnson, he had a nice open field run against Kansas City, but it ain't happening in Seattle, folks. And it shouldn't have happened in Arrowhead either last week. But
they weren't in Arrowhead.
Weren't they? They were in. Oh no, they were in Tennessee. That's right. Yes, yeah. So
it didn't happen in Arrowhead.
But it shouldn't even happen against the Chiefs. The Chiefs are too good to let that happen. But I think
it was a breakdown and
a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while.
Busted play, but I don't see the Titans doing a whole lot. What they did for the majority of the game defensively or offensively I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah,
they're not a very good offense.
Yeah, Chris Johnson, CJ2K, he's not that anymore. And you know who led the
I'd like
rushing?
to see him on with a line. The quarterback led the.
Yeah, he led the team in rushing.
Yeah, Fitzpatrick led.
Oh, it was great. I love that because it was a shovel pass to Chris Johnson.
Yes.
So
busted play, shovel pass.
Counts as passing yards. Kendall Wright, he's managed to produce with his teammate Nate Washington. But Kenny Britt, for all that is good and holy in the world, 1 catch on 6 passes thrown his way for 9 yards.
Yeah, he's disappeared.
Come on, man.
Disappeared. If you have him, you can drop him.
Yeah, he's droppable. They're talking maybe bring him over to Atlanta, but I don't like the guy. That guy's a head case. I mean, he's kind of like Randy Moss. He can be. He's not as good as Moss, but
I'll take Randy Moss.
Well, he's got the mentality kind of thing. Like he's got talent, but I don't know. He's not
producing.
He's not producing. So, yeah, we'll wait and see on that. Seattle. Every time it rains, and even if it rains in Seattle on Sunday, I think Marshawn Lynch. It's going to be bright, sunshiny days for the Beast. Number 24. That guy's he's a wrecking ball. He racked up his first 100-yard game last week against the Colts, and he's averaging 6 yards in that contest. 6 yards per carry. It's not too bad.
I think you should expect more of the same.
Yeah, so I think though Tennessee's got a decent defense. A lot of people, they don't have a great offense. They're not sexy at all by any means. But Tennessee's defense,
as we said, Seattle's a different team at home.
Yeah, so it's going to be a good one for Seattle if you own some Seattle players, namely Marshawn Lynch. The defense are going to do well. The receivers, no one stood out to be the man yet.
They haven't needed anybody to do that yet.
Golden Tate, he's probably the closest thing.
Baldwin's leading the team in receptions, but he only has 17.
Percy Harvin, he is going to be coming back. It should be soon. He says he's pretty much ready to go. He's practicing a little bit. If he's available, he shouldn't be. I mean, a lot of people hung on to him. If he's available, pick him up, stash him on your roster. He's a game changer. Percy Harvin, when he's playing.
He ain't playing, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, once he comes back and starts playing, I mean, I think he'll be
play
a good play.
2 weeks and get hurt again, and
possibly. The guy's pretty durable, though, for the most part. I saw him when he was with the Vikings. He played through everything. Headaches,
and that's probably why he's in a position where he can't play through anything right now.
Yeah, it could be. So he could be a guy that possibly could carry your team into the fantasy playoffs. For New Orleans and New England, I haven't even looked at the local 3 o'clock game yet on TV, but I'll bet my next paycheck this has got to be one of them.
Well, the Pats are on all the time.
Yeah, and New England Patriots, it's got to be on there. You're starting Breeze, you're starting Graham, you're starting Darren Sproles. Got to start him. He was a little quiet last week, but I think you can go with him. He should be a good play this week. And you might as well throw Hartley and the defense in as well. Throw them all in. It's going to be a high-scoring game.
I don't think so.
Two middle road. They're not outstanding defenses. They're kind of middle-of-the-road defense. They're kind of a lot alike. They got some good offense, decent defense, and it's going to be the battle of. I think up for grabs is who's going to be the best quarterback and best tight end in the league contest. Rob Gronkowski is going to be coming back this week, most likely. It's not
but
official
I don't know
yet.
if you should expect him to be that guy that he was.
I think he
in
will.
Week 1.
I think he will be. I mean, he's out there running and he's been ready to go. There was some difference of from what he said of him being ready to go and New England saying that, well, we don't think you're quite ready to go yet. I think he's going to be full goal. I think he's going to be the Gronkowski that you drafted early on, you held on to for a while. So I think it's Jimmy. It just sets up to be this way. Jimmy Graham against Rob Gronkowski, king of the tight ends. It's up for grabs.
Be a good matchup.
Up for grabs. Literally up for grabs. For New England and New Orleans, do you have any? It's the battle of the news. Orleans against England.
Only thing I could see is, was that the real Patriots team that we saw last week offensively when they were shut down?
Brady is consecutive games with passing touchdowns streak has been
and I think
snapped.
he was another one of the quarterbacks that, depending on what league you had, they got 0 points.
Yeah, it wasn't a good day for Brady, but I think he'll bounce back against the Saints. Stephen Ridley, he's questionable right now. You can't start him, though. It's just a mess in the backfield in New England. So until that gets cleared up, he's on your bench. I got him in one of my leagues, and he's not sniffing even a flex position for me right now. So there you are. All right. Indianapolis and San Diego, the last of the 3 o'clock games. What do you like? What don't you like? Oh, no, we have
Arizona. Their Monday game.
We have Arizona, San Francisco. Sorry.
Two more.
Yeah, Arizona, San Francisco.
2 more before we get to that game.
Yeah, Arizona and San Francisco, and Washington, Dallas will be the evening game. Arizona and San Francisco, they're the final 3 o'clock game. For the second straight week, the Cardinals face a pretty stout defense in San Francisco, and they're going to be at San Francisco.
But also, you got to look at the Cardinals couldn't score against the Bucs either.
Yeah, there's not much relief in sight for Larry Fitzgerald. I mean, he had Talib on him the whole time, so I can expect that, but the 49ers this week, they'll face the 49ers this week, and then they got Seattle in week 7. So, and granted, it's going to be in Arizona when they face Seattle, but
it's just not a very good offense.
I got Larry Fitzgerald on my team, and great guy, probably one of the best receivers out there. He just plays on a team that's just the line just can't hold up. Give Carson Palmer time to get it down the field and find the ball, and teams are just double teaming. He's not a huge guy like Calvin Johnson, so you double team Fitzgerald. It's you're drawing coverage over to him and leaving your other guy open, Roberts. But it's not a good situation for Fitzgerald. So
no, not the same.
He's on my bench for this week, so I don't think he can. I mean, if you have, like I said, there's got to be some better options out there. Matchup wise, Williams for Dallas. Alshon Jeffries is still available for Chicago. Might be some other options for you there, but if you have to play him, you have to play him. If you have a shallow league,
you hold your fingers crossed.
Yeah,
and see
pray for a touchdown. I don't see much happening for him. Andre Ellington, he's slowly but surely surpassing Mendenhall in the Cardinals' backfield. If he's available, pick him up in your league. He could pay some nice dividends, especially in PPR leagues later on down the stretch. Granted, we are talking about the Arizona backfield, but he does make a nice play in PPR leagues. He can catch the ball, and he's got some moves, a little more than Mendenhall does.
Yeah, he's running the ball better, but as you said, it is the Cardinals, and they don't score a whole lot.
If you got a receiver that you don't need it's riding your bench, a decent receiver, nothing amazing, but you got somebody on your bench that you might want to throw out there. Maybe this guy's got Andre Ellington and a plethora of running backs, and he needs a receiver. You might be able to make that trade, and it might work out for you. Can't hurt to try. So, San Francisco, temper expectations for Frank Gore. Arizona, they're stingy against the run. They held Reggie Bush and Joique Bell to under 60 yards in week 2. And Doug Martin to 45 yards on 27 carries in week 4. 27 carries, 45 yards. I think it's like 1.7 yards per carry. Arizona's defensive line, they're no joke. So, I mean, I know Frank Gore is good. The San Francisco line is good as well. But so is Tampa Bay's.
Well, something's got to give because Kaepernick hadn't thrown the ball
Frank
well.
Gore is not getting 27 carries.
No, but
ever in any game, no matter who it is.
What Kaepernick throw 13 times or 14 times in the last game?
And I have him too. And, I picked up the Browns' Brandon Weeden to play against Detroit this week. I think he's got a better shot at more points than Colin Kaepernick. The thing with Colin Kaepernick, if you drafted him thinking that he's going to get all these rushing yards, if they're not going to let him run free, he's benchable. You can't start Colin Kaepernick.
He's not a fantasy player right now. At this stage, the way they're using him.
And they don't really need to. San Francisco, they're not playing for fantasy football purposes. They're playing to win games. So, and I understand that, but you'd like to see a little more. You'd like to see more of the week 1 against Green Bay for Colin Kaepernick, over 400 yards and a lot of rushing yards. But
he may not have 400 yards in 3 games put together.
I'm looking at their schedule. I just don't see them really playing anybody that's going to really challenge them. It's like Denver, and Dallas last week. Dallas had a good chance to give Denver their first loss. They have the offense to do it, but right now I don't see any offensive teams that are going to keep with San Francisco, and he hasn't really needed to do anything in the last 2 weeks for Kaepernick. So if you have better options, there's some people out there. You might want to play Philadelphia's quarterback stepping in for Vic Foles.
Fitzpatrick, you may want to take him.
Fitzpatrick, So there's other options out there right now, but for me, I think I might have to bench Colin Kaepernick. until further notice, until they get out of that. Vernon Davis, I think he will have a nice game, though. Arizona surrendering 19.8 fantasy points to the tight end position. Jim, did you say you had some other questions there?
Yeah, we've got a couple here. Kai said, with Steve Ridley regaining consistent starting status after he returns from injury.
What do you think his status as far as playing him?
Yeah.
Will he get back
Ridley?
to starting?
Yes.
He might be the starter, but Garrett Blunt did fumble last week. Bolden's in the mix, but not Bolden, but who's the other running back in there for New England? He might. It's a three-headed monster right now, and until Shane Vereen's going to be coming back soon. I have Ridley, and you drafted him, high, but he
may start when he gets back and play.
Yeah, but you don't know how many.
But that doesn't mean he's going to get a lot of touches.
Yeah, it's all.
If you have better options, I'd probably wait and see how they use him.
Yeah, if you can guarantee, like last year, where he's getting 20 carries per game, 20, 25 touches per game, then yeah, but it's just not happening right now. The first game he had that fumble, went in the doghouse, then he got injured. So, you like to see it, and I think eventually with Rob Gronkowski coming back, that will open the running game. Because they really hadn't had to focus, and Gronkowski is a good blocker as well. So I think that'll open things up for Ridley if he gets, he will be the starter, and if he keeps producing, I don't see Belichick going away from him, but you've seen running backs before produce nicely, Kevin Falk in the past and Sammy Morris, and then, they produce nicely for that 1 week, and the next week they don't even go to him. They have like maybe 3 carries, and somebody else gets the bulk of the work. So it's the scheme, I think, for New England and what they're trying to do for that game.
Yeah, I'd probably stay away from New England running backs for right now.
Yeah, right. At the beginning of the season, a different story. You thought really would get all the work, but right now it's kind of a mess right now. So, yeah, temper expectations. If you don't have a better option, I guess you play him as a flex. I think that's all he is right now, flex at best. So, do you have another one?
Yeah, Tom Brady. Will he be a top 5 quarterback once Gronk returns?
Will he be a top 5 quarterback when Gronkowski returns?
Yep. Once he returns.
No.
It's borderline.
One guy's not going to make him. I mean, what that offense is kind of what that offense is. Gronkowski's going to open up some other things, but
they're not the Patriots when Randy Moss was playing.
Right, they're going to if they start doubling him, then he's going to go to the receivers that he really doesn't feel real comfortable with, and the guys that have been real inconsistent.
But I think those rookies are coming on. Tompkins is coming on.
I thought they were coming on until watching them last week.
I think it's very close to top 5. I think you got Amendola back now. Hopefully he stays healthy. I mean, in a perfect world, if all these guys were healthy, I think he's a top 5.
We could better answer that question in 5 weeks.
You probably better answer the question probably after
But do you have another
this week,
quarterback?
But probably next week. Once you see how Gronkowski does, yeah, and you're probably starting Brady anyways, unless you have a better option. But you probably drafted Brady high. Maybe you got maybe got Romo late or Phillip Rivers possibly. I think you're starting him this week. I think it'll be a high-scoring game against the Saints. So I think he'll do fine. He can't get worse than what he was last week, so I think he'll be fine. I'd start him. I think if everybody's healthy, Amendola, Vereen's back once he gets back. They'll have Ridley. They'll have Gronkowski. They'll have Edelman, Tompkins.
It all depends on
Dobson.
Like you said, what are your options, too?
Yeah, I think he's got the weapons, and I think Brady's the kind of quarterback who makes anybody around him look good. So,
I thought that until last week.
Turns no names into that was one game.
Right, but first game of the season, you were saying, well, what's going on with these guys?
Well, Colin Kaepernick looked like a stud. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to the fantasy football championships with Colin Kaepernick just by himself. But
I think what we're seeing with teams now is kind of more of what we should expect to see as the year goes on.
Yeah, but I think also that injury plays a part in it. I think you get those guys back from injury. It's a different story. Rob Gronkowski, I still
don't think he's going to be 100%, though.
He's a game changer.
You don't have 5 surgeries in the offseason.
They had to clean him out again. It wasn't his fault.
But I'm just saying, you don't come back and be this. You're not the same person. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
All right.
It's going to be good. You got another one?
Yeah, this is also from another lady.
I love it.
Chiefs fan. So
Chick Chat. We're turning this into Chick Chat.
You know where this is going. Any validity to the rumor that Tony
Gonzalez is coming back to the Chiefs? No. Not happening. Yeah, I know the Falcons season's pretty much over. I think unless there's some miraculous comeback, they still have, New Orleans in that division, and New Orleans is looking great. They're a wild card team if they can make it back. Julio Jones is out for the year. It's looking ugly in Atlanta right now. So I don't think they're making the playoffs, but I don't think Tony Gonzalez is going to be. I know Tony Gonzalez wants the championship. And I think all the Chiefs fans want to see him come back, and help him drive. They do need a tight end. Moyaki out for the year, but he would be a great upgrade. But
this ain't a championship team.
The Chiefs?
They're not a Super Bowl championship team.
You know what? They're making the playoffs, which is more you can say about the Falcons.
Right, but they're making the playoffs, but that doesn't mean. I mean, you got to be realistic.
You do have Denver. You have to get past, but
You have more than Denver. They're a good team. They're not a Super Bowl contending team right now.
Well, we had a tight end in here earlier that has shown a lot of promise this year.
Who's that?
McRae.
Yeah, and he's played well. McGrath's played well.
But if you can upgrade at any position, you do that. But I just think you have to be realistic about where the Chiefs are at this stage.
What they're going to have to give away to get Gonzalez as well. They
don't want to give up that, and you're not guaranteed going to the Super Bowl if you get a tight end.
Yeah, nobody's a bigger fan of Tony Gonzalez than I think myself. I love that guy. I've had him for most of his career in fantasy football. So
they need more of a line anyway. An O-line.
What's that?
They need more of an O-line anyway.
Yeah.
They have other issues, other things they need to shore up. They need they probably need a receiver that can stretch the field, along with another tight end, along with some.
Are you talking about the Chiefs? Dwayne Bowe.
Avery.
Yeah, but that's not their game plan. Dwayne Bowe can stretch the field, but they're just not doing it, so it's not their game plan. I think Tony Gonzalez would be an upgrade, but I don't see it happening. So, hey, Cleveland Browns trade away.
It's nice to dream.
Cleveland Browns trade away Trent Richardson after the second week. So anything is possible. I don't see it happening. All right, let's finish up with the last two games here. Washington is at Dallas on Sunday Night Football. That'll be a fun one to watch. NFC West teams or NFC East teams going at it. The question, Miles Austin, is he going to be? He's back at practice. It's hard to start him though. He picked up Williams. If you own the best situation here, best scenario is if you own Miles Austin and Williams, then you have until that game to kind of decide. Because if Austin's out, then Williams is a shoe-in for some great. Washington is just not good at all on defense, especially against the pass. They give up 28 points a game. So it'll be fun to watch. I think this game's always fun. Washington, Dallas. Doesn't matter if Washington can be the worst team in the league.
They always play an exciting game. They don't like each other. It's a good rivalry.
Yeah, it's fun to watch. Anything on this one for Washington and for Dallas?
Well, we got to look at if Morris is going to play for Washington at the running back position. They had a bye week. He was injured. R.G. Griffin.
Yeah.
What can we expect from him?
I think
going forward.
And granted, he's not Peyton Manning. He's not going to throw up 51 points on him, but they can be thrown on. So I think Pierre Garçon will have a nice game here. I really like.
I think Garçon. I think Hakerson. I think Moss. I think they all have a shot because we saw what Denver did to the Cowboys secondary.
Yeah.
And some of those similar things could happen with the Redskins. I think that you look at the Redskins receivers and they can do almost the same thing.
And Jordan Reed, their tight end, he's actually starting to produce now. He had 6 catches last game, or 5 catches off 6 targets, 50 yards. He keeps producing. So I think if you're looking for a sneaky tight end play, Jordan Reed might be the guy for Washington. He's starting to get a lot of looks here. I think he'll be paying dividends for the second half of the fantasy football season. Anything else on this one? You're starting Des Bryant, of course. You're starting DeMarco. You're starting all your Cowboys as usual. Washington, they're just not that good on defense. So I think he'll be fine there. Tony Romo, he's a lock. I think for at least 300 yards.
Yeah, he's going to get you points.
300 yards, 2 maybe 3 touchdowns in that one. So
2 maybe 3 interceptions also.
Yeah, who cares? They only count 1 point against you. You get 4 points.
2 in my league.
That's hard nose, man. I wouldn't be able to do that.
Got to protect the ball.
So the intercept, I can see the fumble thing. That would be I'm fine with. But some of those passes, your quarterback can hit the guy right in the numbers, but he could just pop it up and miss it, and it's intercepted, and that counts against you. Why, that shouldn't count against your quarterback, I don't think. It's not the quarterback's fault that he throws it right at him, the guy can't catch the ball. It's not on the quarterback. It should be on the receiver, if anything. So I tend to go -1 for an interception because you have to do something, give something to your defense. But, really docking a guy. Same with sacks, kind of.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, but, in John Kitna's case with Detroit, somebody had him, and it was like -2 for sacks. He had like -10. The guy would get sacked all because he hang on the ball forever. But sometimes you don't know if your offensive line is going to be able to hold up. So, yeah.
That's why you got to do a little bit more research.
Can the receiver catch the ball or not? Does he have the case of the dropsies?
And you look at where the quarterback throws, too. If they throw a lot of high passes, there are a lot of chances where they're going to be tipped balls. If they throw the ball low
Jay Cutler?
Only the receiver with the nose down type of throws, then they're not going to throw as many interceptions.
Agreed. All right. Final game is Monday night. Indianapolis Colts are at the San Diego Superchargers. It should be a good game for Andrew Luck. T.Y. Hilton, he went off last week, had 2 touchdowns in this contest.
But if you want to go by your theory, that 1 touchdown run didn't count because it was a long pass and run.
Yeah. No, you know what I'm saying, though. I mean, if the guy can outrun, if he can juke out 5 different guys on a 70-yard run to the end zone, I think it's deserving. But if nobody's around him like Chris Johnson, it's just like once Chris Johnson gets in the open field, I mean, he's gone. But he has trouble getting started behind the line. But it does all still count. Colby Fleener, he had a quiet game last week, tight end. I thought he'd get more involved in the red zone. It wasn't last week, but he still could put up some good numbers against San Diego. Trent Richardson, he hasn't. I think this is the game that Trent Richardson starts getting it done.
He the next few weeks, I think
he has. Yeah,
he's been there long enough, get acclimated to everything that he should start showing a little bit more now.
A lot of fantasy owners of Trent Richardson thought he'd do a little bit more early on, but you got to temper expectations. He's coming in a brand new system. He's got to learn the playbook. But I think against San Diego, the 29th ranked defense, he should be able to get something done, at least a touchdown or 2 possibly. And I think the Colts will get up big in this game.
I think both teams are going to score a lot.
Yeah, I mean, Indianapolis defense are pretty good, but I think Indianapolis comes away with a victory here against San Diego. And PPR leagues, you got Danny Woodhead. He is legit. You got to be starting him. Antonio Gates also looking very good. So it should be it'll be a better game to watch, I think, than the Atlanta Jets game from the other night. But that one ended up turning to be a pretty good game. I had a feeling that Atlanta's going to come back in that game. It was like the Jets can't be up this big and not have Atlanta come back. So.
They can't be 2 terrible teams in New York City.
This is true. So we'll see what happens with the Chargers. If you have Vincent Brown. He's going to be a good play. And a lot of people are liking the other receiver, Keenan Allen, I believe it is. Yes, Keenan Allen. He's showing some promise there. 6'2", 211 frame. Had 6 catches, 115 yards against Oakland and the touchdown. So if you have Keenan Allen, I think he could do very well for you. But again, the Colts are pretty good on defense. Fair to above average, I'd say, defense. So I don't think he's going to go off for that. But
this will be a big test for them, the way that the Chargers move the ball around.
Yeah. So those are all the games. Do we got anything else you want to make mention here?
No, I think we.
What's your favorite color?
I think we hit it all. It's odd that the only 2 teams have off weeks.
Yeah, Miami and Atlanta. So if you have them, make sure they're on your bench. And it doesn't matter. I think they're all injured for Atlanta. So.
And non-productive for Miami.
Yes, very non-productive. Reminder, next week we're going to be at the 810 Zone at Harrah's Casino in Kansas City, North
Kansas City.
Why is that always? I work for a radio station, and I type up obits, and it's North Kansas City. I'm like, It is Kansas City, though, still, right?
No.
There's not. Is there a city North Kansas City and there's
It's called
Kansas
North
City?
Kansas City. Yeah.
Is there South Kansas City?
Nope, just North Kansas City.
What's with North Kansas City? I don't get that.
I don't know. That's just the name of the city.
East
where
Kansas
the
City,
casino
West Kansas
is.
City?
There's North Kansas City. So just
And
want to
there's
make sure.
Kansas City, Missouri, and there's Kansas City, Kansas.
Right.
Learn something new all the time. It's a weird, wild, crazy world. All right, so
Why isn't Parkville University?
I don't know.
Didn't ring as much. Well, because the guy's name that founded that land or whatever park, so they left it short, and then they named the town after him, so he got both.
There you are.
You know your history.
The history right there. Reminder, watch 38 The Spot between 7 and 8 a.m. Monday through Friday. Catch the Border Patrol there. Again, we're going to be at Harrah's Casino next Wednesday night at 7. Are we eating before or after?
During.
Oh, I like that. A show would be like 9 hours. It's 9 hours long. And also we're streaming 810WHBTV.com. You can also catch it on Facebook. If you have any fantasy football questions, we'll be checking that out throughout the time and answer those questions for you. 810WHBTV on Facebook. We thank the Zone, 810 Zone, for having us once again here in Leawood. I'm Clay Jensen, Brian McRae. We thank you, and we'll talk to you next week. Appreciate it.